Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him, how I've proved Him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him. Can we sing it again? Oh, Jesus, Jesus, how I trust Him, how I've proved Him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for grace to trust Him more. Well, if you're glad to be in church tonight, would you say amen? Anybody get any tornadoes? There were a few floating around. Some of y'all's hair looks like you got a tornado. I'm kidding. I don't mean a word of it. Yeah, Drex's hair looked like it. He said that. I did not say that. We're right here at the start of this very unifying prayer meeting service. And behold how they love one another. I want you to stand with me and take your Sing to the Lord songbook and turn to song number 596. Song number 596. Let's sing it together tonight. What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, I'm leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path rolls from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. I'm leaning, safe and secure from all alarm. Oh, leaning, I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. Let me tell you a little story before we sing this third verse. Years ago, I had this dear old warrior of the cross, Harold Buchanan, for revival. And he told this story. He pastored one time down in the deep south. And there was that African-American lady that he was friends with. He saw her one day on the street. He said, "Sister, how you doing?" She said, "Oh, Pastor," she said, "I started to fall over this way, and the Lord just took a board and propped me up this way." She said, "So I started to fall over this way, and the Lord took a board and propped me up this way." She said, "Then I started to fall back, and He took a board and He propped me up that way." Then she said, "I almost fell forward, and He took another board and propped me up that way." She said, "I'm all propped up." You ever feel all propped up? What I thank the Lord for is that He'll prop us up. When you don't feel like you can stand, you're so tired you don't know your name, you can lean on Him. Amen? Let's sing the last verse together. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms, I have blessed peace with my Lord so near. Leaning this course. I'm learning to lead, learning to lead. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. I'm finding more power than I ever dreamed. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. Let's sing it again. Oh, I'm learning to lean. I'm learning to lean. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. I'm finding more power than I ever dreamed. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. Let's sing it one more time. Yes, I'm learning to lean. I'm learning to lean. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. I'm finding more power than I ever dreamed. I'm learning to lean on Jesus. Oh God, we're so grateful that we can lean on you. We're so grateful that we can count on you in every stress and strain of life. When we just don't feel like we can stand up on our own power, we're so glad we can lean on you. God, thank you for this good crowd tonight in this Wednesday night service. Oh, Jesus, continue to bless this service to our hearts. Speak to each one of us. Encourage us and help us, I pray, for Jesus' sake. Lord, we thank you for how you helped us this past weekend. Oh, God, your presence was rich and real. Thank you for the incredible preaching that we heard and the faithfulness of the Holy Spirit and the wonderful singing. Thank you that we can be in your house again tonight. God, we believe you want to deepen our walks with you. Oh, please continue to help us, I pray. In Jesus' name I pray, and all God's people said, Amen. Amen. You may be seated. Well, we have a quartet tonight, unless... oh, that was fast. That was fast. Vanna, you want to come join this group of boys? You don't. I don't blame you. One of them's already stolen my microphone. Stone, would you like to use Pastor Don's mic tonight?
Yes.
Okay. And this is Arisha, who's helping out Stephanie tonight. This is Stephanie Jr. So, Arisha, thank you for helping.
Hear God for
guys. That was a good quartet right there. Y'all need to get a song together for the next Fifth Sunday Sing. We used to sing that song in Winchester, and how many of you remember the motions that you would do with that song? So you take a kid that's only about 2.5 foot tall, and when he says Zacchaeus was a wee little man, Zacchaeus really was a wee little man. Maybe quite a bit shorter than Holy Scripture implies, but that was good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Arisha, for where'd she go? She already quit. Tell her I said thank you when she comes back in the door. Well, let's have some testimonies tonight, shall we, Brother John Anderson? Can you help us, bro? Go to the sound booth, Brother Ronnie, if you could help me on that side. Let me just share a couple things with you. Many of you have asked, many of you have called. I apologize. I'm not always able to take the calls. Kind of the way the schedule works right now is my day starts at the hospital, and I pretty well take the morning shift and take Grammy breakfast and stand there and talk to Gramps, and I read to him what the stock market futures are doing, and then I try to tell him things that I hope will make him mad enough to wake up. Biden's still the president. The gas is $5.25, and I just was. But I'm afraid it's been 5 days since his brain aneurysm, and he's not awakened at all. And the doctor said today that the doctor bluntly said it's time to let him go. And I don't know how you do that. I don't. It's tough. I don't know what else to say. So that's kind of, our lives are just kind of crazy right now, folks. I appreciate you understanding, and appreciate your prayers. Amy's at the hospital. The twins are there with her tonight, and so, but when Grampsy gets to heaven, he's going to tell the Lord a whole bunch of things that I've told him that I hope don't keep me out of heaven. I'm just telling him the news. But doctor came in today, and he said he was from Boston and that he'd been on CNN. I said, well, that's 2 strikes against you right there. You're from Boston and you've been on CNN. He said, would it have helped if I'd have said had been on Fox News? I said, just a little bit. But anyway, they're there tonight, and I'm glad to see Brother George Creech here. Lucy's in the hospital. We're going to pray. We need to pray for her later. George, I don't know if you probably don't mind me telling the crowd. Something has happened. The doctors really don't know. But at this point, Lucy cannot put a sentence together. She cannot. 2 days ago, when I walked in, and she's staring at me, and I said, can you say my name? She stared at me a minute, and I said, who am I? She said, Donnie Bates. She wasn't supposed to say that. I said, it's Pastor Don to you, Lucy. I didn't do that. But today she could not. She could not. The only thing she was able to do is after I finished praying, she said, amen. But George has been up at the hospital and quite a bit, and yet he's in the Lord's house tonight. And I thank the Lord for that. But I want to tell you, God was with us last weekend, and I hope that you can testify about it tonight. So who would like to be the first to testify? I just sense that God deepened our hearts and helped us. What are we doing here? What are you pointing at? What's going on? Oh, we'll be back after this 60-second network timeout, huh, bro? You want me to keep talking? But the Lord really, I felt really, really, really helped us. I'm so grateful President Stetler could be with us. His sermons were just phenomenal. And the presence of God was here, especially Sunday night, and we had good singing. And thank the Lord for how He's helping us. But who would like to be the first to testify tonight? Sister Taylor.
Well, I think revival's still going on. We was in cottage prayer meeting last night, and God was there.
Praise God.
Praying, and while I'm thinking of it, let's also pray for Rusty Brundell. He's not doing good. and they've asked your prayer request. They were missionaries for a while, and he's up at UBC, but he's not doing well at all.
We will pray for him later tonight. Who's next? Brother. I'm so happy to see this fine couple here on Wednesday night. Testify, my brother.
I am so thankful for the time that we had, and I'm thankful for the reminders that come our way. I'm thankful for the work of the Holy Spirit
Praise God.
and what He does and how He woos and brings us to Him. I'm thankful for the witness.
Yes, so important.
The fact that it's real, and the realities that come, and that we can worship Him. I'm so glad for that. I'm basking in the truth that was presented and enjoying it. Just the reinforcement of the way you've been preaching recently, but it was just nice to have that and to be reminded once again in a very special way. I love this.
Praise God. Is that microphone on? We could hear him okay, but yeah, I don't think the mic's on. Yes, I felt the same way. Who's next, Brother Taylor?
Jesus being full of the Holy Spirit after his baptism, he was full of the Holy Spirit. He returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. There was a big trial waiting for him.
Yes.
And then after he successfully passed that test, the devil departed from him for a season, and Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit to Galilee. Maybe this is a test that we're going through. It just seems like, wow, just a number of things are happening that are testing us. But when we're filled with the Spirit, and when we're in the test,
Yes.
God brings us through, and we
Amen.
come out at the other end in the power of the Spirit.
That's right.
And that's what I'm believing God for.
Praise God.
We had a wonderful prayer meeting last
Thank
night.
the Lord. I'm
And
so glad
I
to
just
hear
want to praise His name. Amen.
that. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Who's next? Sister Gloria. You're burning some calories now, bro.
Well, I tell you what, I have to tell you, am I hit by a tornado too? At least I was able to get off of 65 onto 465 last. I could get here tonight. I told Donna it was a lot easier getting here than Sunday night. Sunday night was horrible. But anyway, I do appreciate the Lord. I tell you, I have to say that I was so filled with the Spirit of the Lord last night at that prayer
Praise
meeting.
God.
I tell you, I was thrilled to death to have one in my house again and
Yes.
fill my house with a prayer of God's people.
Thank the Lord.
I tell you, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And any of you that miss it, if you have a chance to go to cottage prayer meetings, it's a wonderful experience.
Praise God.
It's a feeling to be so close to the Lord. I mean, you
Amen.
just reach out and touch Him. I mean, we were that close. I mean, it was wonderful. It was almost like we all wanted to just sit there and nobody wanted to get up and go home. Of course, I wasn't going home. I was already there. But I told you once before that I just wanted the chance to at least have at least one more cottage prayer
Yes.
meeting in my home.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to a whole lot more now.
Amen.
I tell you, I love my Lord.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Sister Donna.
I appreciate the fresh anointing. That song says, Lord, we need a fresh anointing. We can't borrow from yesterday.
We
But I'm
can't.
glad I don't have to, that He's got a fresh anointing. It's there for my taking. And I just want to keep under the spout where the glory comes out because I don't want to dry up. There's too many souls to get in.
That's
And
right.
I'm thankful for all that God's done for me and all His many blessings. And I'm thankful and I want to serve Him.
Amen. Praise God. Brother Terry.
Get on the job, man. Well, anyway, I like the weekend series of preaching. That was really good. and we learned about the Holy Spirit. And there's a song that I've been listening to over and over again. My wife says, sometimes I'm like a little kid. I want to listen to the same thing over and over again. But it's a beautiful song that I never heard before, where I'll never stand alone. And it is a beautiful song. And we don't have to stand alone because the Holy Spirit is there to guide us. And I just love the Lord tonight, and I'm glad that we can listen to some good music. It's so awful sometimes when you go down the road and hear this loud nonsense trying to be music. But I'm glad that the Lord gives us a peace that passes understanding. Praise the Lord.
That's right.
Amen.
Thank the Lord.
So last Thursday was supposed to be a nice evening of working in the yard. I was up on a ladder and I fell off a 6-foot ladder, and I thought for sure I would have something broken or something, and nothing was broken.
Thank the Lord.
But I've got to tell you that, and I've talked to Alan about this, I feel different. Something has changed, and it's got to be divine intervention. I feel better now physically and mentally than I have in the last 6-7 years.
Wow.
And I can't explain it. I talked to my sister who's a nurse, and she can't explain it.
Wow.
And I'm just so thankful and so very blessed, and I love Jesus.
Thank the Lord. Would you loan me that ladder? Brother George. No, Brother Gene. Forgive me, please.
Well, I do love the Lord tonight. I thank Him for a safe trip to Missouri, and the privilege to go back to camp meeting where I got saved. And I do love Him and thank Him for safe travel. I want to serve
Thank
Him.
the Lord. Thank the Lord. Who's next? Arisha.
Well, I have many things to thank the Lord for, just a lot on my mind, but I want to thank Him first for keeping me and my family safe,
Amen.
traveling to and from my sister's wedding, and how everything went very well. And we got back close to 4:30 on Sunday evening, and people were like, "Are you going to church?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got to get to choir practice, you know." So, some people think thought I was crazy, because we were all very tired, and I still am very tired. But the way the service was, I'm so sad that I missed the other services, but I had the best reason in the world to miss them.
Sure.
But that service Sunday night, I just keep thinking about if I had missed that, if I had said I was too tired.
Yeah.
And the Lord really helped me, and He really showed me some things Sunday night
Praise God.
that have really been speaking to my heart and just really blessing me. And sometimes I listen to different things while I'm working, and one of those things, you can laugh if you want, but one of those things is Adventures in Odyssey. And
I'm right there with you, sister.
some of the things they have to say are really profound. But one of the characters was talking about how sometimes when life is quiet for us, but everything is happening around us, and things are happening to different people. Sometimes we tend to create our own little drama. We create our own we may not mean anything by it, but we want to feel included somehow. And they said, but you got to remember, the scripture says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God
That's right.
and His righteousness, and all these things, the things that you're waiting for, the things that you're hoping for, will be added unto you."
That's right.
And I'm just so thankful for those promises. I'm thankful for the abiding presence of the Holy Spirit, and I
Praise
love the
God.
Lord with all my heart.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. That was so good, Sister Paula. Well, let's go to Josh and then Sister Paula. Go ahead.
I praise God tonight for His faithfulness to my heart. I'm encouraged in the Lord tonight. I too appreciated all the messages. They were searching, and I'm determined to stay full as He challenged us, and to just be consistent with my life, and to be the faithful Christian that God intends me to be. And I plan to do that tonight. I love Him.
Amen. Praise God. Sister Paula.
I was so glad to be reminded Sunday night of that song. There is a river, there's a fountain,
Yes.
there's a vast supply,
Yes, there is.
and this river shall never run dry.
Never run
And
dry.
I found it, I don't know if I found the exact one, but that's just been going over in my mind. And I had Roger sing it last night at the prayer meeting. there's a river that never runs dry.
That's
People
right.
would know that it never will run dry. And I've got to be reminded of that he will always be there. He'll always be there with me.
Praise God.
I love the Lord.
Thank the Lord. Brother George. Brother Ronnie.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank the Lord for each of my brothers and sisters in the Lord here. It's been good in being at Sister Gloria's house last night for the prayer meeting. I really felt the Lord.
Amen.
It kind of went the other way today, but I know we can't go on our emotions. We just have to go on the faithfulness of God. Is faithful.
Yes, He
I know
is.
He is.
Yes.
And I love the Lord. And I know He's able to take me all the way through, and I'm just trusting Him. Love Him tonight.
Praise God. Praise God. Can we sing this? I'm going through. I'm going through. I'll pay the price, whatever others do. I'll take the way with the Lord's anointed few. I'm going through, Jesus. I'm going through. I'd rather walk with Jesus alone and have for my pillow, like Jacob, a stone, living each moment with His face in view, then stray from my pathway and fail to go through. So I'm going through. Yes, I'm going through. I'll pay the price, whatever others do. I'll take the way with the Lord's anointed few. I'm going through, Jesus. I'm going through. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Who's next? These are good testimonies tonight. Y'all propped me up tonight. Who else? Anyone else? Brother Tom?
I thoroughly appreciated the messages of this weekend. For about the past 30 days, I've been working my way through a book called Absolute Surrender by Andrew Murray. And it grabbed my attention, and Brother Stetler just reinforced it. I think it's something we never finish, the sacrifice of self. And with God's help, I'll continue walking down that path.
Amen. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me. We forget that we have a choice to make. We can either walk in the flesh or we can walk in the Spirit. That's a responsibility on our part. It's up to us to choose where we're going to walk. That was good. Thank you, my brother.
One of the things in the book that stuck with me was, we will either deny self or we will deny Christ.
Yes, very good.
Only one will rule.
That's right. That's right. Who's next? Help yourself.
I want to thank the Lord for the emphasis on the infilling of His Spirit, but I appreciate this church and the presence of His Spirit that helps us to have a hunger that we all so desperately need.
Yes,
and when we come to God's house and we can feel His presence, then I want more of Him.
Amen.
And the message helped to stir that up within my heart. But I'm so thankful for our church and way God has blessed and helped us to keep His presence and His glory in our midst. And I want to continue to contend for the glory of God.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Anyone else? Anyone else? Sister Mary.
Well, I wasn't able to be here for 2 nights of the services over last weekend, but I watched them. Thank God we have that to fall back on. If we are not able to be here, we can watch it on online. And that's what I did for the 2 nights, but then then Sunday night I was able to be here. I felt better and I could be here. So I enjoyed that service. I enjoyed his messages. I was able to listen to him. And it helped me. It helped me quite a bit.
Amen.
To get through those days I couldn't be here. But I had some good news and I had some bad news with some tests that I had to take. But the bad news I can control. So, but my ankle, he wants the air to hit it, so I don't have it all wrapped like I've had it wrapped for 3 years now. And so that was good news. But I love the Lord tonight and how he works. If you're not able to be here, how he can work through these services online. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
That way that we can do that. And I love him with all my heart, and I want to make heaven my home, and I want to take the rest of them with me. I want them I pray my light will shine bright enough that it's going to blind them to all the worldly desires, and where they'll want to make heaven their home also.
Amen.
So I love my heart. I love my Jesus with all my heart, and I'm going to serve him the rest of my life.
Amen. Praise God. I think I saw a stat, John Powell, you tell me if I'm wrong, but the admins of the Facebook pages get these stat updates. Did you see that update today that last week we reached 2,700 people on Facebook? Did I read that incorrectly or was that accurate? Just amazing. Thank the Lord for how he has used our online presence just amazingly so. It's just unreal. Thank the Lord. Amen. Anyone else want to testify tonight? Britt?
I'm thankful for Jesus tonight, and all of my family were really busy people, whatever, but I have my devotions in the car, and anytime I'm getting any spiritual help, whatever, it's normally in the car with music or I'm listening to a sermon. And today it was just different, and the Lord met with me in my car going to work or whatever, and I'm thankful that no matter where I am or how busy I am, he's still very personal with me, and I love him tonight.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. I want to tell you, folks, I found a YouTube channel, which is the Alexander Scourby channel, and how many of you remember the cassette tapes years ago that was him reading the King James Bible? Every one of those, all 66 of them are on YouTube, and they're all in order. If you find the Alexander Scourby channel, you can just go book after book. And I am amazed at how God has used that to speak to me. You would think driving down the road, you're thinking about a million other things. Not so. There have been scriptures that have reached out to me that I've read the Bible through how many times, but somehow it's just gripped me, which reminds me God's word is inspired, right? God's word is breathed upon by the Holy Spirit. That was for then, but it's for now. It means God's word is still alive. Thank the Lord for that. And so I too am grateful that driving down the road, the Lord can speak to you and help you. Amen. Anyone else? Sister Mary.
I'd like to thank the Lord for the services also. His preaching was so easy to understand, and I've already gone back and listened to 2 of them again, and probably listened to the rest of them. I just thought it was really so easy, and he made it so plain, and the presence of the Lord was really here, and I appreciate that.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Anyone else? Anyone else? Thank you, brothers. These have been so good, so very, very much encouraging. Let me let me share a few things with you, and then I want us to gather in and pray. There are some upcoming events that we want to make a matter of prayer, but we also need your help. Vacation Bible School will be here before we know it. VBS is July the 11th through the 15th. Now, we're going to do something different this year. That 11 through 15 would be Monday through Friday. But on Saturday, the 16th, we're going to have a Vacation Bible School picnic here on the grounds of the church. And then Sunday morning, the 17th, we'll have our VBS program. But I am trusting the Lord to help us with Vacation Bible School. We are going to put a mailer together that we will be putting together real soon, that we'll be sending out to the Beech Grove community. We have no way of knowing what kind of impact that will have. I am confident it will have some of an impact, because there are a lot of parents that are looking for babysitters in the summer, and VBS is a good babysitter. But what that means is we want to make sure we have enough help. And I just want you to begin to pray now. Other than Father's Day, Vacation Bible School is our next big event on our church calendar. And I just want you to earnestly pray that God would bless Vacation Bible School. I'll never forget hearing my father tell, my dad did not know what Vacation Bible School was. And he got saved out of deep sin, and that summer, he got saved in December. That summer, they had Vacation Bible School. He asked what it was, and he said, now I was just a baby, but my sister Donetta would have been there. She'd have been almost 4 years old. And Dad said, I sneaked into the pastor's office and cracked open the door into the sanctuary to see what was going on. And he said, a bunch of kids were singing, it's bubbling, it's bubbling, it's bubbling in my soul. They're singing and shouting since Jesus made me whole. And I'm trusting God to bless our Vacation Bible School. And I know it will take a lot of work and a lot of effort. But I believe God would be pleased if we would reach out to young people. You never know who God can save in a Vacation Bible School, right? Amen. So I just hope that you will make it a matter of prayer. Let's pray that God will bless us and help us Sunday and give us a good day. And then next Sunday is Father's Day. Then the Sunday after that, on Sunday morning, we'll have that incredible quartet from Penview Bible Institute that will be with us. And then that Sunday night will be our youth service. So there's just so much that's going on. And well, a week from Monday will be IHYC. And some people were dropping off bottles of water today for IHYC. And I believe the Lord's going to give us a great youth camp. And I'm trusting Him to help us. I know it would be easy. Let me be very transparent for a moment. It would be, what Brother Taylor said was right. The devil is fighting. The devil's fighting. The devil's fighting some of our people. It just invariably happens. Folks, don't let the devil use you. Are you hearing me? Don't let the devil use you. Because he will. He'll use you. If you let him, the devil will use you. And I tell you, our family is, going through a terrible time of grief, and that many of you, a path that many of you have had to travel. I spent most of the morning till about noon up at the hospital with Grampsey, and then had to go to a meeting, and then headed to St. Francis to see Lucy. And when I walked out of Lucy's room and walked back into the hallway, there was a lady sitting on a chair just weeping uncontrollably. And I couldn't walk by her without stopping. And I went over and sat beside her, and I said, "Ma'am, I'm a pastor. Can I help you?" And I said, "Are you suffering loss?" And she said, "My sister-in-law is 56 years old. She said this is the 4th different type of cancer that she's had, and she's about to pass away. And this lady is just weeping uncontrollably." And I said, you mind if I pray with you? And she said, no. And I started praying, but can I confess something to you? I was praying for me as much as I was for her. I almost started bawling, sitting right there, praying for her. And I thought, if I start bawling, she's going to think I'm nuts, you know. I don't even know her, and I'm crying like a baby, but I didn't want to tell her my father-in-law's at the point of death. I didn't want to go into all that. And I walked out of there sad, depressed, I'll admit it, carrying what feels like the weight of the world. I could sit down on that chair right now and go sound asleep. I can't explain it, but if you've ever gone through grief, it's mentally exhausting, and you just struggle to put one foot in front of the other. And I thought of that song this morning that Donna mentioned. Lord, I need a fresh anointing. I can't make it on yesterday's touch. I have to have a touch today. I almost broke down and went and got a double cheeseburger, no onion, supersized with fries well done. Said, Lord, I think I've earned this. I didn't do it. I did eat Chick-fil-A sandwich, but I needed the carbs really, really bad. But another song I thought of that if I knew it well enough, or if Lee knew it, I'd sing it to you tonight. But it says these words, Lord, you know I need a brand new touch. My strength from yesterday is gone. But if you'll give me, Lord, another touch, I'll have the strength to carry on. The verse says, I thought the sun had come to stay, but all too soon it went away. And in its place the storm clouds came, and with the clouds there came a rain. It rained so hard and oh so long. And I felt that way. I felt those moments of, God, I can't go on. But about the time I don't think I can put one foot in front of another, guess who props me up? Amen. The same God who props you up. The same God who's right there when you can't handle one more piece of bad news. About the time you don't think you can handle one more piece of bad news, God's right there with you to say, I am here to help you endure whatever it is. Amen. And I lean on that, and I rest on that. And I don't want the devil to use me either. Now listen, my filter is gone right now. You know what I mean? I mean, if I hear somebody doing something dumb, I'm half tempted to say, stop being stupid. I'm not going to do it, but I want to bad. I have good excuse. I'm not going to do it. But let me encourage you, don't let the devil use you. Don't be an instrument the devil wants to use. Don't let, like Arisha said, don't create drama. Don't do it. Someone sent me a text message over the weekend about how afraid they were about something related to our Holy Spirit convention. They don't even go to our church. Hello? I want to say, don't let the devil use you. Dear people, let's not be instruments that the devil can use. We're God's people. Let's act like it. Amen. And so I pray, and I believe with all of my heart, especially Sunday night, I sensed a deepening among many of you that encouraged my heart. The Holy Spirit talked to us and helped us. And look, not everyone, I don't know what just happened. Oh, battery must have died. I can talk loud enough, y'all can hear me. But here, I'll get out the mic. I'll get Pentecostal for a moment. Not everyone is going to do the right thing, folks. True. You just understand that. Now, I had a district leader tell me one time, he came through to my church, and I had a few problems, and I was telling him about it. He said, Don, be careful. Be careful what you say, because he said, if you get up and hammer the goats, he said, the goats aren't going to listen. He said, but your sheep will sit there and they'll duck their heads thinking that you're hitting at them, and you're not hitting at them. You're trying to hit the goats, but goats don't care. We're all going to hear the same message, and not everyone is going to respond the same way. But let me tell you, dear crowd that's here tonight, you are responding to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Be an instrument that God can use. And don't allow yourself to get caught up in this, that, the other, this drama, that drama, this person's bad opinion, this one that's mad and going to leave, and whatever. I want to be an instrument that God can use. Amen? Amen? And I'm so encouraged in my heart for what God is doing, for how he helped us. Listen, I know, I'm going to shut up, I promise. I know, President Settler, I took it as a compliment. He said, I don't know of another church that's doing a Holy Spirit convention. Well, hallelujah. But you know what? I hope more churches will. Because I think we need to focus on the Holy Spirit during Pentecost Sunday. And I realize you never know when it's going to fall. It falls around vacation season. It is what it is. But you know what? God helping us, he'll help us adjust. I believe that. I believe that who knows, in the future, going forward, God will help us look at the calendar and say, you know what, Lord, help me to plan around Holy Spirit Convention because I need Holy Spirit Convention. Wouldn't that be a good idea? And so I know it's new. I know we're not used to it yet. But oh, my heart is so refreshed at what God did for us as we focused on the blessed third person of the Trinity. And I believe he's going to show up Sunday. I want to say one other thing. I said I would shut up. We had a huge crowd Sunday morning, and we had a bunch of people out. We had at least 20 regular people that were out, and we had 142 Sunday morning. Isn't that wonderful? Hallelujah. And I am so grateful for what I sense and how God's helping us. And look, while God is moving, I want to be a participant in the moving of the Holy Spirit, don't you? I want to be a participator. I don't want to be a spectator. I want to get engaged. I want to be involved. I want God to help me as much as he is the person sitting beside me. And I believe he's going to continue to do that for us. I believe that with all of my heart. So let's pray tonight. Let's pray for Vacation Bible School. Let's pray for Sunday. Let's pray for Sister Lucy tonight, that God would be with her. Let's pray for Donald Baird's father. He's having a lot of physical problems, many strokes and heart issues, and he needs a touch from the Lord. Let's pray for him tonight, that God would help him. And I appreciate your prayers for our family and for my mother-in-law. I'm afraid there's going to have to be some tough decisions made in the next few days unless God intervenes. And I wouldn't wish those decisions on anyone. It's just so difficult to know what to do. I know that at the end of the day, God is the giver of life, and I have to rest in that. But it's just not easy, folks, and I know you understand that. But I appreciate you praying for us that God would help us. Do you have any prayer requests that you want to mention, Brother Romans? Let's pray for Margaret Romans, that God would help her. Sister Shirley. Amen. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Praise his name. Anyone else? Anyone else have it? Yes, ma'am.
My cousin Mindy lost a baby.
Oh.
And her uterus erupted.
Oh.
So she's having major surgery and she's not.
Oh, let's remember this request. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Oh, wow. Absolutely. All right, will do. Brother Roger, did you start to say something?
I'm concerned about our Supreme Court justices.
Oh, yeah.
Kavanaugh was saved this morning from an attack, and it's really getting desperate. We need to pray for him.
Yes, we do. We need to pray for the safety of our Supreme Court justices. Let's pray. Well, I was going to get political. I won't do it. Anyone else? Yes, Sister Carrie. All right. All right. Anyone else? Family. We all have family that needs God, don't we? We all do. Let's gather in. Lee, why don't you play Learning to Lean? I'm learning to lean on Jesus. Why don't we all gather in that's able, and let's have a good season of prayer tonight as we end this service, and let's call out to God. I want you to pray this way. Lord, help me to be a vessel that you can use. Don't let me be a vessel of the enemy, Lord. Don't let me be a stumbling block. Help me to be a stepping stone. And let's just allow the Holy Spirit to take us deeper with Him than we've ever gone before. And let's pray that God will help us Sunday and give us a great day and a good crowd, and that He will move in our midst. Folks, lift your voices with mine. I'm tired tonight. You know that. You pray out tonight. Let me just kind of follow along, but you pray out tonight, and let's just pray. Jesus, we need you tonight, Lord. Oh, God, our strength is gone. Our bodies are weak. Oh, God, we need you tonight. Lord, bless your people tonight as they pray. Bless them tonight as they call upon your name. Oh, Jesus, help us to cry out to you tonight in Jesus' name. Oh, help us tonight, I pray, for Jesus' sake. Lord, thank you that we've sensed your presence tonight. Thank you that you've been here. Thank you, Lord, that you've touched our hearts in this prayer meeting. Oh, God, thank you for how you helped us last weekend at Holy Spirit Convention. God bless Dan Stetler for his ministry to us. Oh, God, bless him in retirement. Use him, I pray. Oh, God, thank you for Tim and Julia. Bless them as well. Lord Jesus, we lift all of these requests to you tonight. You know every need. You are able to meet every need. Every need you will supply. Oh, God, so we lift all of these requests to you tonight. We pray for Donald Baird's dad, Jerry. Oh, God, help Jerry tonight. He needs you. He needs a touch from you. Help him, I pray, in Jesus' name. God, I pray for Lucy Creech tonight. Please help her, I pray. Oh, God, we don't know what's going on, and we pray that you would touch her, Lord. Oh, God, clear her mind. You know the situation. God, it has doctors befuddled. Please touch her tonight, I pray, in Jesus' name. God, we pray for Margaret Romans tonight that you would touch and help her. In Jesus' name, touch her, I pray. Oh, God, we pray tonight for the Supreme Court justices that you would keep them safe. Oh, God, someone wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh today. And Lord, this godless, worthless media has inflamed the masses for their side, and they think it's okay, and it's not okay. God, we pray that wrong would fail and right would prevail. God, we pray that you would bring the sham January 6th hearings tomorrow night to naught. Oh, God, help people to see through that farce, I pray, in Jesus' name, that it would be so. God, we pray for Rusty Rundell tonight, that you would touch him and help him. Oh, God, you're able to touch touch him this evening. I pray that you would. Lord, I pray for Jill tonight. God, she's having such physical difficulties right now, and we miss her, Lord. Jesus, please help her tonight, I pray. In Jesus' name, touch her and help her, Lord. Oh, God, I pray that you would be with my father-in-law tonight. Oh, God, I know that you can work a miracle. God, I ask you to work a miracle. Lord, I want your will, but you told us to ask, and so we ask for a miracle tonight for John Rossman. God, be with Grammy tonight. Be with Amy tonight, I pray. And be with Di and Ronnie and Denise and all the grandkids and great-grandkids, Lord. Oh, God, give us strength, I pray. Prop us up, Lord. We need you to prop us up tonight, Lord. Please help us, Jesus. God, please help some of our people that are struggling, that the devil's using. Oh, God, help them, I pray. Lord, we love all of our people, even those that are sick. We pray you touch them tonight, Lord Jesus, and help them, I pray, for Jesus' sake. Lord, help us in Vacation Bible School. Oh, God, we're trusting you for a gathering of souls, of young people that need God, who come from homes that are godless. We're trusting you, Jesus, to help us. Lord, we pray for Steph. Give her wisdom as she's putting it all together, and give us all of the volunteers we need, Lord, to have a very successful Vacation Bible School. Oh, God, touch us, I pray, in Jesus' name. Jesus, we need you. Help us, Lord Jesus. Help us, I pray, for Jesus' sake. Thank you for your presence and help tonight. Keep us in your care as we leave this place. Give us grace, Lord. Give us grace and strength. Lord, thank you for the good note of victory about the cottage prayer meeting last night. Oh, God, help our people to hold on in prayer. Help them to continue to pray, Lord. God, as John Anderson said, thank you for our church. Thank you for the sense of your presence that we sense service after service after service. Oh, God, be with us again this weekend, I pray. Touch us, I pray, for Jesus' sake. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Praise God. God bless you. You're dismissed. Be safe and be blessed.
Could we have some of the men come up here? I want to gather around Brother Bates. The decisions they have to make aren't light. I've been with families at those times, and they're not light. And they need the whole family, but we want to pray for Brother Bates right now. Amen. Amen. Let us pray.
You are dismissed. God bless you. We'll see you this weekend, Lord willing.